You should know that the mating instinct is the base of pretty much all of your impulses. So if you haven't learned that pretty much everything from the way you talk, present yourself, hold yourself, dress, everything you do is some kind of expression of your mating instinct, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not.
Let the beat ride.
Everything you show off about that you don't want to show if you have a flaw, pretty much everything you do comes back to wanting to look good and present yourself well for mating purposes. Once you understand that, you start to understand where the buttons are, because you'll say, oh, that's why that's happening. It's an extension of the mating process. Oh, that's why that's happening. It's an extension of the mating process. Oh, that's why that's happening. It's an extension of the mating process. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll see it everywhere. Oh, that's why that's happening. It's an extension of the mating process. It's like the veil will come off and you'll start seeing everybody's actions as, wait a minute, why is it? Everything is compatible with that showing off for mating purposes situation. Showing off for mating purposes situation.
Let the beat ride.
Oh, that's why that's happening. It's an extension of the mating process. Oh, that's why that's happening. It's an extension of the mating process. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll see it everywhere. Oh, that's why that's happening. It's an extension of the mating process.
Yeah. What up, dog? Good morrow, you beautiful thing, you. We are here as an extension of the mating process on this fine afternoon. And hey, did you see? Good news. We got the ceiling camera back. Yeah. Ceiling camera is back. Look. Woo.
Let the beat ride.
Hey. So we now have camera 1, camera 2, camera U, and so we really are cooking with fire. If that ain't nice, I don't know what is. How's you? How's this afternoon crew? It's the afternoon for me anyway, where I am. I'm in Mexico. It's the afternoon in Mexico. A little later than scheduled. Thank you for your patience. I had a contact lens incident wherein my contact lens was hurting me. And that's not what they're supposed to do. It's supposed to be my little circular plastic friend, my little rubbery buddy that gives me, regular human vision. But no, it was hurting me. It was causing me discomfort and sadness. I had to remove it and replace it. And that's it. People go, Akira, why don't you get LASIK? Why don't you get that laser thing? Why don't you get a laser in your eye? My brother got LASIK and he doesn't even have that particularly bad eyesight. I never saw him wear a pair of glasses in my life. I was the specky twat. And then one day he's like, oh, I got laser surgery. I'm like, where'd you even get lasers? He's like, oh, for my short sight. What short sight? You could see. Anyway, he did and he was fine. I never trusted it. Now, this isn't necessarily fully the reason I haven't got it. I was always like, when they introduce a new thing, when they spring a new thing on society, people go, oh, great, let's go. Like the internet or something. The internet, you know what I mean? They just drop something. Like the example I often use is the scooters. You know, one day everyone woke up and there was an electronic scooter in their city centre. No one was consulted in advance, no one was given sort of, you know, even vague training on how to use them. And there was accidents and craziness and lunacy all over the place. Anyway, you know, they started lasering people's eyeballs. You're like, well, there might be side effects. What happens in a couple of years or whatever? Now people are like, well, we've been in it for decades, it's fine. Not necessarily. Dan...
Let the beat rock.
Dan, not TDM. I've forgotten his surname. He's been on this show. I DJ'd his first ever live gig. Blanking on his surname. YouTube, you know, sort of geek rapping fellow, raps about Minecraft and things of that nature. Sometimes politics. Anyway, he said he got laser eye surgery and it buggered up his eyes and they've forever been uncomfortable and dry and itchy. And that's the worst thing. Uncomfortable, dry and itchy. But the real truth of the matter is you know, you have a hierarchy of things you need to pay for. Things that require investment. You know, and they usually start with the basics like food and shelter and clothing. And then they might stretch out into, you know, things like replacing a camera battery or, you know, a light. You know, an instrument that you may make better music. And for whatever reason, like lasering my eyes has never reached the top of that hierarchy of things to pay for. It just literally never has. Either way, I still think that the whole, you know, little rubber circle in the eyeball is an absolute miracle. You stick a little rubber circle to your eyeball and you can see. That shit's crazy to me because I really can't see very well without it. Everything is just very much a blur. It's it's just blurry world, like super blurry world. Like I couldn't tell if that was you over there or you over there really, unless I'd really sort of like learned to understand your body movements and I could generally tune in on your aura.
Let the beat rock.
Dan Bull. Why did I not remember Dan Bull? I was like thinking about his logo. His logo is a cassette with horns. It only just dawned on me his logo is a cassette with horns because that's a bull, not just the evil cassette from the old piracy adverts. I've just realised that. Shouts out to Dan Bull. I forgot your surname for a minute. I feel like I've got a hangover. We went really hard last night. Who was here last night? Inc. says, don't forget gym membership. What, on the hierarchy of things to pay for? Yeah. Or, what, $100 worth of macadamia nuts. Is that what it was? Last night, and you know, I ain't drinking. I ain't been drinking booze with any kind of, you know, regularity, or basically drinking booze since like 2018. But honestly, I felt like I got a hangover today. I woke up mad late and I was really tired, and you know, eyeballs and all that sort of thing. That's typical hangover shit. Because we went super hard last night. If you were here last night, make some noise. I see some of you. Last night was crazy. That was one of them crazy ones. And yes, it has been deleted from YouTube with the swiftness. I don't know how many content blocks it got. I haven't got that report from Jason yet. But I did see that it got 3, like, it'll get, I don't know how many claims. But it's been blocked in every country on earth multiple times over. Apparently, you know, they don't like it if you play electronic, so thanks Johnny Marr and Bernard Sumner, you archaic creatures, you. That Avicii track got the worldwide block. They don't want you playing Avicii for some reason. What was the other one? Oh, Deadmau5, the Velt. Wow. So yeah, so it shouldn't be playing Deadmau5 or Avicii or electronic. Otherwise, you get the worldwide block. But you know, fear not. You'll be able to, if you're a channel member, you'll be able to download the audio of that stream and the video. And if you're on Patreon, you'll be able to watch it on a streaming player shortly as well. But yeah, last night was awesome. Big up everyone who's here. Xyloprone, we don't have an email from you. I don't know what email address you've emailed or from what email address, but there's nothing from anyone called Xyloprone in any of our inboxes. We checked. Ling says the squirrels are all hungover today. Yeah, we had new mimetic emergence last night, didn't we? We've now got squirrel activities. I love the way these things just emerge. Just emerge. John Arthur says, when can we expect a Peter Gabriel and Akira the Don collab? I love Peter Gabriel. Peter Gabriel is great. Looks could kill, they probably will. Did you know, Don't Give Up, that one he did with Kate Bush? Word around the campfire, I remember, was I interviewing them? Someone who worked on that video. And they shot that video, Kate Bush and Peter Gabriel, and they were just kind of holding each other and singing, don't give up, you have friends. All that, you know. And it was very, very, quite intense video. You know, they were getting pretty emotional. There was obviously some pretty significant chemistry. Anyway, apparently as soon as they cut filming, they just ran behind the screen and got after it. So I'm told. It's a beautiful story. Brad said, listening to last night's party stream today got me through my morning. That's wonderful. How did you listen to it? Was this before YouTube ceremonially blocked it everywhere? Smart. Oh, apparently we now do have an email from Xyloprone. Hurrah. How delightful.
Here are the other buttons, which are mostly self-explanatory, but freedom is a big thing. People will trade a lot for freedom.
Yeah.
You could say, would you like a bad life with freedom or a good life with no freedom? And people will take the bad life with freedom. So if you ever have a chance to create a situation where you can offer someone more freedom, that's very powerful. That's a button. And you should get as much for yourself as you can. And you can use it as a tool to help other people get what they want, because they will trade a lot for freedom. Because they will trade a lot for freedom. People will trade a lot for freedom. Because they will trade a lot for freedom. And freedom can come in the form of getting money. That gives you
freedom.
Having a flexible schedule.
Yo, kick that like button in the dick if you're into the whole freedom thing.
Which gives you freedom. So
you are free to assault the like button.
Fear is a motivator. I don't recommend using it unless you're trying to save somebody. Yeah, you could use fear to keep them from smoking cigarettes, for example. Yeah, I wouldn't use this in the evil.
Synchronicity.
Curiosity is one of the most important and overlooked buttons on the human interface. You can see that authors that are good at it will make you curious at the end of a chapter so that you'll want to keep reading. So that you'll want to keep reading. Building curiosity into things is a really, really important button. When you can stoke somebody's curiosity, you can really shape what they do, and you can shape your environment through curiosity. Very, very powerful. But freedom is a big thing. People will trade a lot for freedom. They will trade a lot for freedom. People will trade a lot
Freedom. I tweeted something. It's something I think about quite a lot. I tweeted, social engineers are always testing what they can get away with. The smoking ban was like a dry run for the whole Tom Hanks disease stuff. I was a teenager at the time, living on my own and working in and frequenting pubs and clubs. It went from practically everyone smoking indoors, like everybody was smoking. And if they weren't smoking, they were hanging around with people who were smoking. To zero, basically, overnight. Smokers went from being like cool and the norm to being huddled outside in the cold, a guilty minority sneered at as stinky outcasts. At the time, few questioned it, and most that I knew that did question it concluded that, well, it was for the greater good, and they didn't think about how insane and terrifying it was that something so radical could be enacted on a population with such swift, uncontested, brutal immediacy, right? Yeah. I was there. It happened. People used to smoke fags, right? Everybody smoked fags. It was like you'd hang around in the bar, like, and you'd smoke fags. You'd get your lighter and you'd like run it along the bar so a little bit of flint came off, and then you'd like lick the fag, and then you'd roll it in the flint, and then you'd smoke the fag, and the fag would be like a little sparkler. It was like a constant source of interest and amusement. And that had been going on ever since Francis Bacon came back with tobacco, you know what I mean? But then they just decided in the late 90s that they were going to switch that off. And they switched it off like practically overnight, and people kind of went along with it, like I said, because, those that, they went, well, I guess it's for the greater good, right? So you do it. And that was, at the time I found that deeply concerning, that they could just do that. Anyway, I tweet this, and what do you know? Somehow people managed to respond and kind of make my point. Someone responded and said, one could argue that inhaling a dried chemical-saturated burning plant is clinically insane, and that forcing your children to do the same is borderline abuse. That wasn't the point, was it? Few questioned it. Most I knew that did concluded it was for the greater good, and didn't think about how insane and terrifying it was that something so radical could be enacted on a population with such swift, uncontested, brutal immediacy. You know what I mean? I had a bunch of those. People going, oh, well, actually, smoking's bad for you, so it's good. That's... So long as they can convince you it's good for you, they can do anything, and a certain kind of person will always be there to get behind it. That's concerning. Yoga Mac said, I was working at a bowling alley that had just put in smoke fans to help the airflow. They were one of the last ones in my area to submit. Later moving to Knoxville, a lot of places let you smoke at the bar still. Winky face. Even though I don't smoke cigs, those are my kinds of places. What's that? The smell of freedom. And that made me laugh, because, in the first place, when Edward Bernays was convincing women to smoke to sell more fags in like the 50s, they were doing this whole societal remodeling at that point with the whatever wave of feminism that was, right? And so they did a couple of things. They associated the cigarette kind of subconsciously with the penis, but they also called them liberty torches. So if you were like a young sort of feminist type of a lady, you'd smoke a cigarette for freedom because it was a liberty torch. So that made me laugh, because now here we are on the other side of the thing. They did the whole make a bunch of people smoke, then they're like, right, you're not smoking anymore, and people are associating with freedom. And it's a funny old thing. Amanda Dancy says the Siggy talk hits home hard. Oi, podcast. Michael says, I'm from Knoxville, hell yeah. Scoops82 says, use your despair to find freedom. Xylophone says, dog, you're killing me with flag licking since Francis Bacon. What? Illing says, I hold my pinky up, can't help it. When you hold your cup up, do you raise your pinky? What an interesting thing. Xylophone says, I like to rhetorically ignore your central thesis for conjecture and syllogism. freedom, homie, if we don't have it done, people choose for us. Still don't fully understand this sentence. Which central thesis for conjecture and syllogism? Ooh. Yeah. Anyway, my thought at the time, just going back to that, was I remember thinking, man, if they can just make people stop smoking overnight and people will go along with it, what will they do next? What other things that we take for granted in society will they just decide for the greater good? You know, that's what they're saying, to just remove or remodel or reshape. And then all sorts of crazy things have happened since then. That was like, you know, the late 90s, 97 or whatever. Now here we are in 2024, we're in the future. And it does look very, very different. Who knows where we'll be in 5 years? All I know is that we will remain the wavy. The wavy will remain, and we shall regulate regardless. Raz said this is leading me to want a cigar. Yeah. Where do people smoke cigars these days? Do they still have cigar lounges?
Akira. He's got
It's nice to have the ceiling camera back, isn't it? Hey, ceiling camera.
The first point was about how you're not going to get rich. You're not going to get rich renting out your time. You must own equity, a piece of a business, to gain your financial freedom.
This is probably one of the absolute most important points. People seem to think that you can create wealth and make money through work. It's probably not going to work. There are many reasons for that, but the most basic is just that your inputs are very closely tied to your output. In almost any salaried job, even one that's paying a lot per hour, like a lawyer or a doctor, you're still putting in the hours, and every hour you get paid. So what that means is when you're sleeping, you're not earning. When you're retired, you're not earning. When you're on vacation, you're not earning. And you can't earn non-linearly.
You're not going to get rich renting out your time, renting out your time, renting out your time. You're not going to get rich renting out your time. You must own equity, a piece of a business. You're not going to get rich renting out your time, renting out your time.
I remember when I made this, I sent this to, well, when I sent Naval this record, this was his favorite song instantly, he loved it.
Your financial freedom.
And as far as ones that are life-changing, this is probably one of the more life-changing Meaningwave records. I mean, it definitely was life-changing for me, and people write to me all the time.
Who get rich.
Talking about this one.
It's because they open a business. They open like a private practice, and that private practice builds a brand. Essentially, you're working for somebody else. And that person is taking on the risk and has the accountability and the intellectual property and the brand. So they're just not going to pay you enough. They're going to pay you the bare minimum to get you to do the job. And that can be a high bare minimum, but it's still not going to be true wealth where you're retired. You're not creating new things for society. You're just doing things over and over. You're essentially replaceable because you're now doing a set role. Most set roles can be taught. If they can be taught, like in a school, then eventually you'll be competing with someone who's got more recent knowledge, who's been taught, and is coming in to replace you. You're much more likely to be doing a job that can be eventually replaced by a robot or by AI.
You're not going to get rich renting out your time, renting out your time, renting out your time. You're not going to get rich renting out your time.
Ing says chat is very green this afternoon. Look at that.
You're not going to get rich renting out
Green Army.
renting out your time, renting out your
Proud of you.
You're not going to get rich renting out your time. You must own equity and gain your financial freedom. Your financial.
John Arthur says, Akira, do you have a song with the word entrepreneur? That's what this song is about. I've got lots of songs that have got the word entrepreneur in.
A job or a career or a profession where your inputs
Looking forward to having a database where we can just instantly
high creativity and
work that out.
leverage tend to be ones where you can do an hour of work and it can have a huge effect, or you can do 1,000 hours of work and it can have no effect. One great
I
engineer.
don't know how one would put that together.
Point.
It's something that is on my list of things that I want to have for the Meaningwave community.
Not quite as
It's a kind of central database where you could type in a word and it would bring up all the songs that are to do with that.
every piece of code that they ship ends up not getting used.
You're not going to get rich renting out your
We
time.
have lyrics for every single song. Every song is transcribed.
You're not
They're all on meaningwave.com and Genius.
time. You must own equity in a piece of a business. You're not going to get rich renting out your time. Renting out your time. Renting out your time.
Yeah.
You're not going to get rich renting out your time. You must own equity in a
Guy the pro took a shower and is still ripe. Is that powerful
your financial freedom.
essence? Yeah!
Your
Financial freedom! Freedom! We have a subconscious freedom theme going on. I didn't think about this or deliberately do this. We seem to be having a subconscious freedom theme on this afternoon. And that's fine by me.
By leverage, I don't mean financial leverage alone like Wall Street uses, and that has a bad name. I'm just talking about tools. We're using tools. Computer is a tool that software engineers use. If I'm a lumberjack with bulldozers and automatic robot axes and saws, I'm going to be using tools and have more leverage than someone who's just using his bare hands and trying to rip the trees out by their roots. Tools and leverage are what create this disconnection between inputs and outputs. Creativity, so the higher the creativity component of a profession, the more likely it is to have disconnected inputs and outputs. So I think that if you're looking at professions where your inputs and your outputs are highly connected, it's going to be very, very, very hard to create wealth and make wealth for yourself in that process.
Matthew Felsey says Meaningwave Wiki will be cool. Meaningwave Wiki will be cool. Elaine says you'd have to spend a shitload of time tagging each track with all its keywords. I mean, I've already done that in my personal library. But you could literally just do it from the lyrics. An easy way of doing it would be from the lyrics. Each song has its lyrics transcribed. How's that like button looking? It's looking very, very healthy. I'm disgusted. That thing should be carted off to hospital. What you're doing? Freedom used to be my hubs, peeing off our front porch after dark. And now we're surrounded by Ring cameras, so... Whose Ring camera? Whose Ring camera is looking at your husband? Also, why is he peeing off your front porch? What's he peeing into? What? Presumably at the front of your house is a road? I don't know. Was he just peeing in the road? I suppose that is freedom of a sort. Life is suffering. International High 5 o'clock. Let me know where you are and what does freedom mean to you. Where are you, dear reader, listener, viewer, wave riding individual? Be you green or not green? Wifey's in the chat. She's blue. No, she's not in the chat. That's last night's chat. I was like, why is she saying epic stream? I was like, this is more of a chill stream. That's a comment from yesterday. That's why. Yesterday was epic stream, by gosh. Julia says the like button is in ICU. I know, I see the like. It looks like it's in rude health. It's practically frolicking in the fields, blowing dandelions. Wifey is in the chat though. Wifey's the blue person in the chat. We're all these green people, and then Wifey is blue. And Wrath is white. South England, freedom is a means that sustains me through suffering. Good point, well made. Shaky says green feels good. I keep doing it. Amanda Dancer says every single neighbor has a ring. A ring. Or a security camera. We're in a cul-de-sac. Outdoor peeing is kind of a Kansas thing. It's how my grandparents met. What the fuck? Of course, that makes sense. Who was peeing? Were they both peeing? John Arthur says, peeing off the porch is rookie. Writing a poem for the HAO in the CEO's snow-covered yard is peak liberty. Yeah, there you go. Is it in France that currently the farmers are spraying government buildings with manure? I saw that earlier somewhere. I like that. That was actually an activity in the video game Saints Row 2, which is a peak video game from the period in time before the creepy weirdos took over the gaming industry and video games were fun, you know. One of the things you could do in Saints Row 2 was drive a sewage truck around and spraying your enemies, like buildings and stuff like that, with raw sewage. They would consider that hateful these days. I heard the Goombas have got a union. Zyloprone says, God bless the blues. Julia Hines, California, sipping coffee, chilling with all you lovely MAZ family. Scoops 82, riding the wave in the Metro East. Freedom means pursuing happiness unobstructed. Yeah, I heard about a country that had a document about that in a foundational fashion back in the day. Shaky says, most of us meet that way. Julia says, only 32 likes, not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's unacceptable. Do thy duty, massacre the like button, open up a new window, 2 more tabs along with the stream in that. Open up a browser with a separate account. Create multiple accounts. Stop fucking around. Hey, speaking of which. Amanda Dancy says, I'm totally serious. I know you are. I don't disbelieve that for a second. My grandma was 5 years old and was peeing on and was peeing on the side of my grandpa's house, and he saw her. They married when? Years later. How many years? 2? But we're always together since age 5. Isn't that lovely? What a beautiful story. What a beautiful story that is. Michael somewhere in WA. Sif Cypher's got cherry chili tea. It really is a nice chill sort of a chilling situation, isn't it? Let's do an international high five in a chill fashion. Should we chillingly? So we won't have the gunshot noise. We'll have a chime. And we'll have 1 riser rather than 4. That one's still a bit... There you go. I'll chill that one out. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Hi.
We are the music makers. And
Chill.
we are the dreamers
Chilling.
of dreams.
Akira.
Whoa! of Cypher already subbed on a fella's account, so that's a lot. This is a lot. Proud of you. Come with me, and we'll be in a world of perfect extended vocal version of that coming up this year.
Then the great problem is how to get that higher self working. How does it make any difference to what
Who will be the vocal?
I know all kinds of people who've got this higher self
Mysteries.
practicing their yoga, but they're just like ordinary people. Sometimes a little worse. And they can fool themselves.
You better behave yourselves, I might play you a new track.
Fool themselves.
When I say behave yourselves, I mean just generally be your wavy, beautiful selves.
They can say, for example, well, my point of view in religion is very liberal. I believe that all religions have divine revelation in them. But I don't understand the way you people will fight about it. You fight, say that we, Jehovah's Witnesses, have the real religion. The real religion. Others say, well, we Roman Catholics have it. And the Muslims say, no, it is in the Quran. And this is the right way. 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 This is the right way.
What a message, Jester.
And somebody else gets up and he may be a rather highbrow. They can say, well, God has given the Spirit through all the traditions, but ours is the most refined and mature. And then somebody comes along and says, well, as I said, they're all equally revelations of the divine. And in seeing this, of course, I'm much more tolerant than you are. You see how that game is going to work? See, I could take this position. Supposing you regard me as some sort of a guru, and you know how gurus hate each other. They're always putting each other down. And I could say, well, I don't put other gurus down. See, that outwits all of them. See, we're always doing that. We're always finding a way to be one up. And by the most incredibly subtle means. So you see that, you see? And you say, I realize I'm always doing that. How do I not do that? How do I not do that? This is the right way. This is the right way. This is the right way. How do I not do that? This is the right way. How do I not do that? This is the right way. This is the right way. This is the right way. How do I not do that? This is the right way. How do I not do that? Then why do you want to know? Well, I'd be better that way. Yeah, but why do you want to be better? Why do you want to be better? Why do you want to be better? You see, the reason you want to be better is the reason why you aren't. We aren't better because we want to be. Because the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Because all the do-gooders in the world, whether they're doing good for others or doing it for themselves, are troublemakers. Troublemakers. On the basis that kindly let me help you or you'll drown, said the monkey, putting the fish safely up a tree. Kindly let me help you or you'll drown, said the monkey, putting the fish safely up a tree. Kindly let me help you or you'll drown, said the monkey, putting the fish safely up a tree. Kindly let me help you or you'll drown, said the monkey, putting the fish safely up a tree. Kindly let me help you or you'll drown, said the monkey, putting the fish safely up a tree. Kindly let me help you or you'll
All right, at long last, the user interface for reality. Some of these things you're going to say, hey, I've heard about those. First, you must accept the frame, at least as a filter, that there could be a subjective reality and that you can manipulate it. You should accept that systems work better than goals. People are telling me every day that they implemented systems and it changed their life. This is one of the biggest buttons on the interface for life. If you don't like where you are and you want to go somewhere else, learn how to build systems for everything from your diet to your career to your social life, fitness, everything. Talent stacking. The idea that if you intelligently add new talents, you become not just a little bit better, but exponentially better, because talents really explode your capability and your options. So this is one of the biggest buttons on the interface to reality. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. The interface to reality. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. Affirmations, the idea of writing down or visualizing your goals, seems to be something that gives you the impression that it works. And I say that very carefully. Does it work? Do affirmations change reality? I don't know. I can tell you that when I've used them, the results I've gotten don't seem like anything could have been natural. I cured an incurable voice problem. I had ridiculous stock market luck when I used the affirmations. My career, as I told you, is just crazy. The interface to reality. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. The interface to reality. It feels like it works. But I'm not going to tell you it does.
Hey.
You should see these as filters. If it feels like it works, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. If it feels like it works, keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
The interface to reality. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. The interface to reality. It feels like it works, but I'm not going to tell you it does. You should see these as filters.
Feels like it works. Feels like it works. Things are back to reality. Feels like it works. Feels like it works. Feels like it works.
Sure, you've got a great product, but you have to remember what you're really selling. Yourself. Akira.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Productize and yourself. Yourself has uniqueness. Productize has leverage. Yourself has accountability. Productize has specific knowledge. Yourself also has specific knowledge in there. So all of these pieces, you can combine them into these two words. Productize yourself. Productize and yourself. Productize yourself. These two words, productize and yourself. Whenever you're doing anything in business, if you're looking towards a long term of getting wealthy,
You said Chilbert.
is this authentic? Is it myself?
Chilbert lives.
And then am I productizing?
Yeah.
Am I scaling it? Am I with labor or with capital or with media? So it's a very handy, simple mnemonic.
Ooh. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Productize yourself. Productize and yourself. Productize yourself. These two words. Productize and yourself. Productize yourself. Productize and yourself. Productize yourself. These two words. Productize and yourself.
Akira.
I should make it clear, I don't believe this stuff. I find believing in these high-flown, complicated synthetic systems to come off sort of like pathology. So I entertain ideas, but I don't give belief folks. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. A meme replicator. Question arose in our group. Why us? Why us? Why are the aliens revealing the unified field theory of space and time to us? And the mushroom just replied without hesitation. Because you don't believe in anything. And that apparently is what's required. Do you all know that Van Morrison song about no guru, no method, no teacher, just you and me and nature in the garden? I think that's actually where it's at. So what I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do,
As in the meme spreaders in the chat.
I'm a meme spreader.
Duck gang, wave gang, squirrel gang, all the various gangs.
Replicator. So what I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do,
Chillbit's back.
Because your brain will get bored of the sameness. So you need to trigger memory and attention. Contrast is a way to get people to move from where they are to where you want them to be. You just say, well, it's much less expensive than this. Contrast is one of the most important buttons. Use contrast often. Hey, you don't want to be this bad. You could be over here. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. The more you repeat, the more the wiring gets solidified. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. And if you keep things simple, the brain can process it and deal
Make some noise, chill, stream.
And if you keep
in a chill way.
the brain
Make noise in a chill way. Drop chill wave emojis. Almost exactly the same as if you're doing it in a hype way, but just don't use the nukes, use the waves. Sea of waves right now for Chillbit, let's go.
The fake because is a form of pseudo-logic. Sometimes you need to get people moving with a fake reason that doesn't even actually pass logical standards, but people don't need logical reasons. Just look at politics. People have incredibly different opinions, and many of them are smart. So if you've got smart people on opposite sides of basically every issue, you can see that they don't need real reasons. We're not a species that operates on real reasons. We'll take a fake reason, we'll take one we made up, we'll take a guess, we'll follow our friends. Once you understand that people don't need real reasons, it frees you. Because if you're locked in a little world at a lower level of awareness where you say, well, I'm not going to convince somebody
Sorry about that.
a real reason. Sorry, that's not the reality any of us live in. Real reasons are good. If you have them, use them. But we don't need them. Real reasons are good. If you have them, use them. But we don't need them. Real reasons are good. If you have them, use them. But we don't need them. Once you know you don't need them and that reality can be authored, you're in better shape. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. The more you repeat, the more the wiring gets solidified. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines. The more you repeat, the more the wiring gets solidified. Repetition and simplicity. Our brains are just simple machines.
It does seem to me that anyone who lives in the West, in the Western culture, in history, and in this place, and who isn't simultaneously grateful for that, is half blind, at least. Because it's never been better than this, and it could be so much worse. It's never been better than this, and it could be so much worse. It's never been better than this, and it could be so much worse. So much worse. So much worse.
There was a paper published in Nature not so long ago, stating, for example, that an area twice the size of the US has greened in the last 15 years. There's more forests in the Northern Hemisphere than there were 100 years ago, and more forests in India and China than there were 30 years ago. And then this has gone along with a massively improved standard of living. The child mortality rate in Africa is now the same as it was in Europe in 1952, which is a statistic that I just regard as absolutely miraculous. The rate of poverty is diminishing at an amazing rate, right? Between 2000 and 2012, we have poverty.
It's never been better than this, and it could be so much worse.
us.
Though there is inequality, and
God bless them,
is a problem. First of all, it doesn't look like inequality can be placed at the feet of capitalism. It seems to me a far more intractable problem than that. Second, it's clear that the poor are getting richer despite the fact of inequality. And third, and this is hard on the environmentalists, I think, is that it turns out that if you get people's income up to about $5,000 a year in terms of gross domestic product, they actually start to care about the environment, which I suppose is because they're not worried about dying instantly that day or that week. And so we seem to be in this perverse situation for a pessimist where we can make people wealthy and we could make the world a better place simultaneously.
It's never been better than this. And it could be so much worse. It's never been better than this. And it could be so much worse. It's never been better than this. And it could be so much worse. So much worse. So much worse. And it's highly likely that it will be so much worse. Because for most of human history, so much worse is the norm.
Hey, yo, MEANINGWAVE, make some noise for your myriad blessings. Make some noise for your myriad blessings. I think as we demand a return to nuke emojis, we may be chilling, but only nuke emojis can convey the appreciation we have for our myriad blessings. Broadcasting live from the peak of recorded broadcasting live. I hope you had a lovely week. It's the weekend, we chillin', baby. Getting ready to go super hard next week as it will be the last of what we have of January 2024 ever. We will never, ever, ever again have any January 2024 after next Thursday. Do you understand? This is not a drill. There will be no more January 2024 ever to happen, ever, ever, ever again. What you gonna do with that power inside
you? Genie is the root word for genius. And it's a really interesting idea because there's this unlimited power that's associated with genius, but it's constrained.
Unlimited!
And that's really what the human spirit is like, because it has this aspect of the infinite, and it is something that can grant wishes, but it's also constrained terribly. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes or for wishes. You know, I don't ask God for favors or for wishes. For wishes, you know, constrained mortally and physically and all that. But the thing is that both the infinite possibility and the constraint are necessary. That's what makes up the genie. It has to be both at the same time. And the idea that, you know, if you find your genie, you can have your wishes. It's right. You have to really want what you're wishing for. But you have to make the proper sacrifices to get it. It can't be just some whim. You have to ask for something that you would rather not have, which is usually wisdom. Somebody asked me about prayer. They asked me if I prayed, and I thought, well, it depends on what you mean by that. Exactly. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes. Or for wishes. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes. Or for wishes. But I do think that if you sit on the edge of your bed and you ask what foolish thing you're doing to make it worse, that you'll get an answer right now. And it won't be the one you want, but it might be the one that if you listen to would set things straight. I don't think that I've ever been in a situation where if something wasn't going right for me and I sat and thought, okay, I'm willing to figure out what I'm doing wrong, which is a big thing to think because you never know how much you're doing wrong. It might be something that you really don't want to contend with. But if you clear some space to meditate on that, probability that you'll figure out something that you did that was stupid, that's bending you and twisting you in the wind, you'll get an answer very, very rapidly. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes. Or for wishes. You know, I don't ask God for favors or for wishes. Or for wishes. You know, it's not obvious how you do that. You know, I mean, it's not like you know how you're manipulating your neurons or something. It happens of its own accord in some sense, like you can participate with it, I guess, and you can interfere with it, and it seems to take a certain amount of willpower, but it still all happens mysteriously behind the scenes. And I would say this sort of attitude towards, let's say, prayer that we're discussing is just an extension of that. It's something like, well, you admit that there's a problem first, and then you ask for the minimum necessary intervention, which would be, all right, well, I'd like to move forward on some small amount that someone like me could actually manage. I'd be willing to carry it out. And then you reorient the way you're thinking as a consequence of that, and something usually pops out of the abyss to guide you. Very strange, but it's not really any stranger than the fact that we can think at all. Because the fact that we can think is actually very strange. Strange like the fact that we can dream is strange. And that's strange beyond belief that you can dream, or that something in you dreams, which is a much better way of thinking about it, because it's not like you're really in control of your dreams.
I don't ask God for favor of the wishes, of the wishes. Of the wishes, of the wishes.
We become what we think about. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. Throughout all history, the great wise men and teachers, philosophers and prophets have disagreed with one another on many different things. It is only on this one point that they are in complete and unanimous agreement. Listen to what Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said. He said, "A man's life is what his thoughts make of it." A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. Disraeli said this. Everything comes if a man will only wait. I have brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and that nothing can resist a will that will stake even existence for its fulfillment. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. what he thinks about.
Brand new from Akira the Dawn.
We-
And Nightingale.
The greatest discovery
Look, it's Val Venus.
that human beings,
Hey, yo, baby, how you been?
by altering their
I'm
attitude.
having a kid in a month.
And he also said,
Yeah!
we need only
Them hips getting to work.
as if the thing in question were real, and it will become infallibly real.
Meaningwave Autonomous Zone legend Val Venus in the house. Make some noise.
That it will become real.
Good.
Become so knit with habit and emotion.
Come on!
Our interest in it will be those which characterize belief. He also said this.
Yeah.
If you only care enough for a result, you will almost certainly attain it.
That makes complete sense.
If you wish to be rich,
This joyful, shimmering, slinking bop.
you will be learned.
Summon
If you wish to
Val
be
Venus.
good, you will be good.
Back.
Good. You will be good. Only you must really wish these things and wish them exclusively. And not wish at the same time 100 other incompatible things just as strong. We become what we think about.
What do we think about? Oh, them nuke emojis in the chat right now, you green gang.
We think about.
Armed with nuke emojis, deploy.
We become.
We become.
What we think about.
What we think about.
We become.
We become.
What we think about. We become. We become.
Blah.
We think about. We become. What we think about. We become. What we think about. Now let me say that again. We become. What we think about. In the Bible you read in Mark 9:23, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale said this. This is one of the greatest laws in the universe. Fervently do I wish I had discovered it as a very young man. It dawned upon me much later in life, and I found it to be the greatest, if not the greatest discovery inside of my relationship to God. And the law briefly and simply stated, if you think in negative terms, you'll get negative results. If you think in positive terms, you will achieve positive results. That is the simple fact, which is at the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity and success. In 3 words, believe and succeed. 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 Believe and succeed.
Think about. We become what we think about. We become what we think about. Oh yeah! Rap exclusive. New song from the forthcoming The Strangest Secret in the World LP with Earl Nightingale. Release dates for that and Meditations 2 will be coming next week. This week I've been doing the artwork for those things. It's great. It's glorified. Here's the thing. The artwork itself is like museum grade legendary shit, let alone the music. Oh my goodness. Oh, and that's not the finished mix you're hearing there either. So you're getting to hear my sort of rough mix. Final mix and master is being worked on right now in Australia by my Australian wizard. Shout out to everyone locked in. How you're doing? Felicidades Val Venus. Val Venus. That's be rocking a new life form. Glad you're well. An electrolyto in thy honor. Cheers. You're listening to the Meaningstream. You might be watching it as well on your screen. You should know that the Meaningstream on your screen is brought to you by MeaningWave.com. Yes, it is. How duplicate this? Just gonna make another one. MeaningWave.com, because happiness is a side effect of meaning. Go to MeaningWave.com today for all of your Meaning Wave requirements. Incredible clothing made in the USA. Designed by yours truly, with assistance sometimes from other great people, like, for example, this one here. I was assisted on this one by my son. This shirt here, right, was made using the televisions over there. You know, see the televisions over the other side of the room. Blocked by a bottle of water to a degree, but anyway, that's the video station over there. Yeah, back that up. Anyway, that's nice. That comes in velvet. Did you know you can get a velvet version of that? Velvet. Why I gotta reboot? Velvet. Yeah, amazing. You want to check out digital music bundles? You should download the music while you can, while you've got internet. You know what I mean? You never know when that's going to not work. You need your Meaning Wave by Joe. Dire Straits wanted their MTV. You want your Meaning Wave. Speaking of which, did you see that beautiful shirt? Look at that one. The Meaning Wave television shirt. Very beautiful. You should get 17 of those. There's also a link for where you can support Meaning Wave if you wish to make some kind of a one-time donation, or if you want to make a donation every day. Just come here and make your daily donation. Tithe. Your righteous supporting of righteousness goes there. MeaningWave.com, because happiness is a side effect of meaning. I've got to write myself a jingle. Gotta stop at the jingle. Zyla Prime says, stop the mongering. What's mongering? What's mongering? Mongering. If you mean selling, no, I refuse. Someone's gotta support my family. Yeah. Someone's gotta keep Meaning Wave pumping into the universe. Someone's gotta keep that Meaning Wave flowing. It's very important. And we're very grateful to those that support Meaning Wave, of course, and all of you that enjoy Meaning Wave should also be grateful to those that support Meaning Wave, without whom there would be no Meaning Wave. And that's all of you green people for a start. Look at all you beautiful green people. The greenness signifies your support, and that is a beautiful thing. We were able to replace the battery in this camera on the ceiling because of you. Imagine no people supporting Meaning Wave, there'd be no ceiling camera. It'd be horrible. Let's go. Direction of the cosmos. Xyloprone says, no, I mean gently fear-mongering. Saying the grid is going to go down to get the download with the right smile. You should. Do you know how many times my internet's been down? My internet was down for like a week, like 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I didn't know, as you know, because there was no stream. So there was no internet. I don't know about you, but I was very glad I had stuff downloaded. Cheeky shit. As everyone looked in, Sip Cypher says the groove has indeed been righteous and chill. It's very, thank you. I'm always tempted to just sort of let it rip. I'm always tempted when I've been chilling for a bit to just really up the ante and just like go in, you know. But we're aiming at chill today.
mythology I think of as the homeland of the muses, the inspirers of art, the inspirers of poetry, and to see life as a poem and yourself participating in a poem is what the myth does for you.
You do that.
I mean a vocabulary in the form not of words but of acts and adventures.
I'm going to rewind this. I think this is worth rewinding. You might have heard this song a few times before. You might never have heard it. But I think it's worth rewinding and just paying attention to those opening bars. What's up, Logan Mars?
Akira.
Bienvenidos, familia.
Mythology I think of as the homeland of the muses, the inspirers of art, the inspirers of poetry, and to see life as a poem and yourself participating in a poem is what the myth does for you. I mean a vocabulary in the form not of words but of acts and adventures which connotes something transcendent of the action here, and which yet informs the whole thing. So to always feel in accord with the universal being. Every mythology, every religion is true. Every mythology, every religion is true. In this sense, it is true as metaphorical of the human and cosmic mystery. Every religion is true. Jesus ascended to heaven. The story is he ascended bodily to heaven. The story is that his mother, still alive, asleep, ascended to heaven. This is metaphorical of something. You don't have to throw it away. All you have to find is what it's saying. What it's saying is he didn't go out there, he went in here, which is where you must go too. Ascend to heaven through the inward space to that source from which you and all life came. That's the sense of that. Now, according to the normal way of thinking about the Christian religion, we cannot identify with Jesus. We have to imitate Jesus, but to say, I am God, as Jesus said, I am a God, is for us blasphemy. However, in the Thomas Gospel, Jesus says, he who drinks from my mouth will become as I am, and I shall be he. Wow. That's Buddhism. Every mythology, every religion is true. Every mythology, every religion is true. In this sense, it is true as metaphorical of the human and cosmic mystery. Every religion is true. Heaven and hell are within us, and all the gods are within us. This is the great realization of the Upanishads of India already in the 9th century BC. All the gods, all the heavens, all the worlds are within us. They are magnified dreams, and what dreams are manifestations in image form of energies of the body in conflict with each other. This organ wants this organ wants this. That's all myth is. Myth is a manifestation in symbolic images, metaphorical images of energies within us in conflict with each other. Every mythology, every religion is true. Every mythology, every religion is true. In this sense, it is true as metaphorical of the human and cosmic mystery. Every religion is true.
Cypher, what's the fantastic track here at the end? I can't sleep until I know it. You mean this one? You mean this one? This is Standing on a Whale.
There's a Polynesian saying that frequently comes to my mind, standing on a whale.
Standing on a Whale with Joseph Campbell from the Mythos album, which you can get on Bandcamp and you can listen to on YouTube. It's not on DSPs, if that's what you meant. If you meant the track before that, that was Determining the Direction of the Cosmos. That was just the instrumental, wasn't it? And before that, it was We Become What We Think About, which is a forthcoming, currently unreleased, but coming out very soon song from the Strangest Secret in the World album with Earl Nightingale. What up, Josh? Stopping by to show love and support. Like the stream, people. Good point, well made. Good to see you, Josh. Arcieri says, will this ever be available as an instrumental? Because this is just glorious. We do release as many of our instrumentals as we can. This one we're currently not able to release because when I made the record back in 2019 or whatever it was, and then the whole project was aborted, I didn't render the instrumentals at the time, and now the project files are actually quite difficult to open because of the computers update and then software plugins update, and some things don't work anymore. So to render out the instrumentals and to finish mixing them and master them would be a bit of a project. So I'm currently focusing resources on the new albums, these streams, and so on and so forth. But at some point we will find a way of making that happen.
My mind.
They are very lovely instrumentals. John Arthur says, We Become What We Think About is going to be a fierce hit. I've ever heard that. Those words together, fierce hit. Nice. Jackie says, this has been a perfect show stream, huh? It's pretty nice.
There's a Polynesian saying that frequently comes to my mind, standing on a whale.
Standing on a whale.
Fishing for minnows.
Fishing for minnows.
We are standing on a whale. The ground of being is the ground of our being. And outward turned we see all these little problems here. But inward we are the source of them all. That's the big mystical teaching.
There's plenty of things to criticize about being. It's tragic, and there's malevolence. That's basically the issue. And you can complain about that, but the thing is, if you complain about that, if you adopt that attitude, which is sort of an anti-being attitude, you go places that if you knew you were going, you probably wouldn't want to go. It's the places where, like, the kids that shot up Columbine went. Those are bad places. If you read the writings of the Columbine high school kids, and you really read them, if they don't make the hair stand up in the back of your neck, you are not paying attention. And one kid wrote things, I cannot believe that people could write. And I've exposed myself to a lot of crazy things that people have done and said. You just can't understand it. It's uncanny, you know. Well, that's where you end up if you get bitter. It's like, well, what can you do about that? Well, the world is harsh. It's like, should you criticize it? Not until you put yourself together. You got to bring everything you can to bear on the problem before you have any right to stand in judgment about being yourself. And that's what these mass murderers do. That's what they're doing. That's what they're acting out. They're saying, well, I'm looking out in the world. I don't like people. They're full of flaws. They act badly. They're a cancer on the face of the planet. It'd be better if they didn't exist at all. I don't like being. It's too full of suffering and evil. I'm the judge of this. I'm going to make my goddamn case. I'm going to take them out. And then it's more than that. It's like I'm going to take them out and I'm going to do it with innocence first. thing you got to get about mass murderer types. They're not hunting down the guilty. That's too obvious. They're hunting down the innocent. That's the best protest. Think about it. Well, I don't want to think about it. Well, that's for sure. You bloody well don't want to think about it. But you better think about it. That's where you go when you take that criticism of being approach. But you don't get to do that unless you want to end up there. It's bad. So what do instead? Stop doing stupid things. Stop lying. Stop making things worse. Stop making yourself weak. Even in a day, you'll see that you have choices in front of you, and sometimes you don't know what to do. It's okay, you're ignorant. Maybe you make a mistake. Whatever. That's just ignorance. Malevolence is when you know what you shouldn't do, and you do it anyways. People do that all the time. And that's arrogance. That's, I'll get away with it. It's deceit, because you're lying to yourself about whether you should do this or not. You know you shouldn't. And then it's resentment because, well, it's like, I'm going to do this bad thing because that'll teach the people, that'll teach God to treat me this way. That's the terrible trinity. Deceit, arrogance, resentment. Chase those out of your life.
And look, I wasn't a cokehead. I have friends that are cokeheads. I mean, my coke use was probably, it was over a couple years, maybe once every few months. Maybe 3 times a year, 4 times a year. But then there was a point over about 3 weeks, or maybe 6 weeks, I don't know, where it had escalated. It was just kind of like once a week, and then it was like 2 or 3 times a week, you know? I mean, I'm pissed. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, I wish I never even got to smoke crack. You know, I don't want to be a crackhead, but fuck. You know, I'll take a hit or two just to see, you know, what everybody's talking about. Down at the bus, I thought, down at the Greyhound, you know? But since then, you know, in this program I've learned, like, you know, I don't feel as alone as I used to. I'm learning to have different feelings about myself. Different ways to think about myself. I don't feel as alone as I used to. And it's a program of action, though. Like, I have to work and I have to, like, go to, you know, some of these meetings. And I go to the meetings, man, and it's so funny that God used, or my higher power. People say higher power, God, whatever. You know, I believe in God. I believe in God. You know, it's so much out here in, like, this business I'm in, they try to, like, make me feel like it's not cool to do that, but I'm not gonna feel that way. Because I need that. You know, and the program, too, that, you know, the AA, it's cool because it's not about the drugs and alcohol, man. You know, I never liked drinking. You know, I was never a pothead. I just started to see, like, oh, man, if you'd have asked me one day, will you go to this great opportunity you have on this radio station with one of the biggest radio shows in the world?
Anyway, that's out of
you go on that fucked up.
Nuke that like from orbit. And then drop all them nuke emojis in the chat.
And then here I was doing something
for the glory
that I wouldn't have done. But that's when I realized, like,
because we're here.
I wasn't even doing things that I really wanted to be doing. I don't feel as alone as I used to. I'm learning to have different feelings about myself. Different ways to think about myself. I don't feel as alone as I used to. admit that. You know, there's something inside of me sometimes that wants to make me separate from other people, you know? There's something that wants to make me alone. Because it's part of the only way that I ever knew how to be.
Oh, them milk emojis with Theo Vaughn.
I think I will. I am. I think I will. My hands, my spirit, my sky, my forest, this earth of mine. What must I say besides? These are the words. This is the answer. I stand here on the summit of the mountain. I lift my head, I spread my arms. This, my body and spirit. This is the end of the quest. I wish to know the meaning of things. I am the meaning. I wish to find a warrant for being. I need no warrant for being. No word of sanction upon my being. I am the warrant and the sanction. It is my eyes which see, and the sight of my eyes grants beauty to the earth. It is my ears which hear, and the hearing of my ears gives its song to the world. It is my mind which thinks, and the judgment of my mind is the only searchlight that can find the truth. It is my will which chooses. Choice of my will is the only edict I must respect. Many words have been granted me, and some are wise and some are false, but only 3 are holy. I will it. I will it. I am. I think I will. I am. I think I will. My hands, my spirit, my sky, my forest. Wherever road I take, the guiding star is within me. The guiding star and the lodestone which point the way. They point in but one direction. They point to me. Oh, they point to me. I know not if this earth on which I stand is the core of the universe, or if it's but a speck of dust lost in eternity. I know not, I cannot, I know not, I cannot, I know not, I cannot. I am, I think, I will. I am, I think, I will. My hands, my spirit, my sky, my forest.
Well, here's the thing. Science has only proven maybe, I think, 4 things in the history of science. So that's why there's a theory of evolution, even though evolution is I think it certainly happened. I think evolution certainly happened. Now, I could say to you if I wanted to, that it is a theory because they haven't proven it. But I believe it. When I hear Stephen Hawking say there is no God, I go, what kind of scientist is that? I mean, I heard him say that. I heard him say there is no God, it's a fairy tale. That's not a scientist to me. That's the preeminent physicist in the entire world is saying something out of obvious prejudice. I did not hear the whole quote, to be fair. But I was kind of shocked that science says, like, we've given up. I don't know when scientists started saying things were unknowable. That's a new one on me. Unknowable. That's a new one on me. Unknowable. That's a new one on me. Cause that's not a scientific term as far as I know. Unknowable.
Yeah. That's a new one on me.
Because that's not a scientific term as far as I know. Unknowable. That's a new one on me. Unknowable. That's a new one on me. Unknowable. That's a new one on me. Because that's not a scientific term as far as I know. Unknowable. The things were unknowable.
Hey, shouts out to everyone locked in. Appreciate you. Man like Xyloprone says, please read this in a cheeky shit voice heretofore. There you go. Amanda Dances says, don't forget to tip your beat tender, which is a very good point.
I don't know when scientists started saying things were unknowable.
Thank you, Chris Bayday. Sent through $5 and a little picture of a cat. Julia Hines, so nice to see you. Sent $20 and said, love you all. God bless you.
That's a new one.
We love you and we're glad you're here.
That's not a scientific term as far as I know.
I know.
Good. I don't think scientists could possibly use that term unknowable because
make some noise for Norm MacDonald.
Future.
Beloved immortal Norm.
I don't have the powers of a scientist. I certainly couldn't prove the existence of the planet Mercury, if that's even a planet anymore. I can prove anything. I'm just taking their word for it. No, I'm all for science because I want them to make things that'll make me live longer and stuff, you know? But I would like eternal life. I would like some proof, one way or the other. If God doesn't exist, I don't care what you prove. Like, at least prove one of them. I don't know when scientists started saying things were unknowable. That's a new one on me. Unknowable. That's a new one on me. Unknowable. That's a new one on me. Because that's not a scientific term as far as I know.
I know. Unknowable. With Immortal Norm. I do believe that's the third released Norm song. A full-length Norm MacDonald album is coming. He gave his approval some years ago. Been working on it ever since. It's a beautiful thing. Aye, unknowable. Man like Axel Stacks, appreciate you. Is tipping my wave tender. Regulators! Yoga Max says, make a song of Norm talking about smoking cigs. I already have. Isn't it this one? On one of them, he points out that the lung cancer thing is still a theory. Bananas in the chat. Unknowable.
dominance hierarchy.
Okay, let's go.
The dominance hierarchy has a structure. We couldn't call it a dominance hierarchy. Dominance hierarchy A, B, C, thousands of them across thousands of years. What's central to all of them? That's the pyramid of value. What question do you need answered about the pyramid of value? What's at the top? Because that's the ideal. That's the eye at the top of the pyramid. The golden Buddha in the lotus. It's the same thing. The same thing as the crucifix. And that has to do with something like the voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. 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 The voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. These are not arbitrary ideas. They're deeply rooted in biology and culture. They're as deeply rooted in biology as the dominance hierarchy is rooted in biology. And we already know the answer to that. The dominance hierarchy has been around for 350 million years. It's a long time. You don't get to just brush that off and say, well, morality is some sort of second-order cognitive problem. It's like, no, it's not. You have a counter at the bottom of your brain that keeps track of where you are in terms of your status, and it bloody well regulates the sensitivity of your emotions. So if you regulate us, the hierarchy barely clinging on to the world, everything overwhelms you, and that's because you're damn near dead. And so everything should overwhelm you. You've got no extra resources. You're sunk. And if you're nearer the top, then your serotonin levels go up. You're less sensitive to negative emotion. You're less impulsive. You live longer. Everything works in your favor. Your immune system functions better, and you're oriented at least to some degree towards the medium and long-term future. And you can afford that because all hell isn't breaking loose around you all the time. And so then the question is there a way of being that increases the probability that you're going to move up dominance hierarchies? Well, that doesn't seem to be a particularly provocative proposition. Same thing as the crucifix. And that has to do with something like the voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. 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 The voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. Okay, so back to Jung. Jung believed that once we had stopped populating the cosmos with God, we went inside. Think about it this way. Archaic person looks at the sky, uses his imagination to populate the sky. What's the sky? Well, it's the constellations. It's the domain of the gods. Well, why? Because the gods are what are out there beyond your understanding. Well, that's what you see when you look up at the sky. So you populate the night sky with figures of your imagination. So the gods are the things that you broadcast out of your imagination and see spread over the world. It's like the contents of your unconscious manifesting themselves when you encounter the unknown. It's exactly what it is. How else could it be? You're projecting your fantasy onto what you don't understand. That's how you start to cope with what you don't understand. You populate the unknown with deities. Where did they come from? They came from your imagination. Well, what happens when you take them out of the world? Do they disappear? No, they just go back into your imagination. That's the same motif as rescuing your dead father from the belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Rescuing your dead father from the belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Rescuing your dead father from the belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. It's the same idea. Is that the corpses of the gods inhabit your imagination.
These are the buttons.
User interface.
User interface.
These are the buttons.
These are the buttons.
For the user interface.
For the user interface.
These are the buttons.
What up, Amanda Dancers?
For the user interface.
I'll give you a.
These are the
One of
buttons.
those says a meaning wave pulled me back into reality after a long stint away,
These
and saved me hundreds of dollars on my car insurance.
for the user. These are the buttons. For the
Feels like it works. Feels like it works.
For the user interface. These are the buttons. For the user interface.
First, you must accept the frame, at least as a filter. You should accept that systems work better than goals. Systems work better than goals. Talent stacking, affirmations, the mating instinct, fear, curiosity, novelty, contrast, repetition and simplicity, repetition and simplicity, repetition and simplicity, repetition and simplicity, the fake because, pacing, leading, aspiration, association, pattern recognition, visualization, pattern recognition, visualization. These are the buttons for the user interface. These are the buttons for the user interface. First, you must accept the frame, at least as a filter. You should accept that systems work better than goals. Systems work better than
goals.
Talent stacking, affirmations, the mating instinct, fear, curiosity, novelty, contrast, repetition and simplicity, repetition and simplicity, repetition and simplicity, repetition and simplicity, the fake because, pacing, leading, aspiration, association, pattern recognition, visualization, pattern recognition, visualization. These are the buttons for the user interface. 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 This is my lesson. I hope this was useful. This is the sort of lesson that might not change you tonight, but it's never gonna leave you. But it's never gonna leave you. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You're all changed, you don't know it yet. And this will become sort of a, let's say, a framework that you now have added to your mental map. And now when you see things that fit that framework, it will get stronger over time. And so you'll see that this view of the world will take root, and then every time you compare it to the old way you saw, you're going to say to yourself, wow, is that a coincidence? Because this new way of looking at the world just feels like it predicts better. But I'll keep an eye on it. So this will get stronger and stronger over time, and maybe never stop getting stronger. These are the buttons for the user interface.
Go!
These are the buttons
Anyway, what's out of his zone?
for the user interface.
Make some noise for yourself.
These are the buttons
Make some noise for those buttons.
for the user interface. These are the buttons
Big up Chris Payday.
for the user interface.
I love you guys. We love you. You.
This often, and I think
You is breathtaking.
to author your own life. You're no longer a victim of reality. You are no longer the subject of reality. You're now an author. You're now an author. You're no longer a victim of reality. You are no longer the subject of reality. You're now an author. Some of you were already authors, and now you're better authors. To those of you who didn't know you could be an author of your reality, well, you just found out. And I will leave you on that, and you can have a terrific night tonight. And the rest of your life, it's looking good.
Shouts out everyone locked in. Thank you for being here. Big shouts out to everyone who supported us during the streams. Ida Prime, Multiple, Amanda Dances, Chris Bader, Julia Hines, Axel Stacks, Audio, all that green gang. The stream is, of course, brought to you by meaningwave.com, meaningwave.com, because happiness is a side effect of meaning. Head on over to meaningwave.com and read your favorite lyrics. Why don't you do that? That might be nice. And buy 17 t-shirts and a cassette.
These are the buttons.
The user interface.
These are the buttons.
The user interface.
These are the buttons. For the user interface. These are the buttons. For the user interface.
That picture makes me laugh. I was in such discomfort at that moment when Hercules was taking a picture of me. Who wants one more song? I think we should have one more song, and I think we should definitely end on a sort of chill vibe. But a chill, motivational vibe. I don't know if motivation is the right word, of course, because as you know, over here, we don't need motivation. We've got meaning. Discipline equals freedom. It's that. Certainly some encouragement is nice once in a while, huh? Or some good ideas, some wise words, some wisdom, you know what I mean? Some of that type thing. Let me see, put you back on screen. I forgot we used to put chat on the screen. I'm doing it in a kind of bootleg fashion right now. I'm just showing the back end of the YouTube. And I just did that because last night we were getting warnings. We were getting threatened by Susan and the gang, But then I was like, oh, then we can actually see your chat on the screen. That's quite nice because, it's nice seeing your chat on the screen, isn't it? It's very pretty. Anyway, I'm going to dedicate this song to you. This is some good advice, And, what's the old, what was that Winston Churchill quote? If you're going through hell, keep going. And that just applies in general. Whether it's hell or just mild annoyance, you know what I mean? Just keep moving. It's pretty good. You still got to keep moving. Hey. See it in camera.
Sometimes life is like this dark tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you just keep moving, you will come to a better place.
Akira.
Just keep moving. You will come to a better place. Just keep moving. You will come to a better place.
It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Understanding others, the other elements, and the other nation will help you become whole.
It is usually best to admit mistakes when they occur, and to seek to restore honor.
Perfection and power are overrated. I think you are very wise to choose happiness and love.
Sometimes life is like this dark tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you just keep moving, you will come to a better place. Just keep moving. You will come to a better place. Just keep moving. You will come to a better place.
People see me and think I'm weak. They want to take care of me. But I can take care of myself by myself.
You sound like my nephew. Always thinking you need to do things on your own without anyone's support. There is nothing wrong with letting people who love
like this dark tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you just keep moving, you will come to a better place. Just keep moving, you will come to a better place. Just keep moving, you will come to a better place.
Get that laugh on the soundboard. To join Uncle A. Hey, just keep moving with Uncle Ira, and that is known as Just Keep Moving brackets Uncle Ira close brackets. If you were trying to find it on a streaming platform or something like that. Man like Sensi Beats says, "What a stream, what a stream." So nice to be with you all as our dear Wave Lord has been so generously dispensing the most chiller vibes on this Saturday. Big up Akira the Don and much love to the whole Meaningwave fam. Amen. Amen, huh? We'll be back mañana. We'll be back mañana for our Sunday session. I haven't decided what it is yet, so that would be a nice surprise, and lovely to see you there. Make sure you've got the notifications and all that sort of thing switched on. Please do boot that like button in the very likey balls on the way out. Leave a comment. Head on over to meaningwave.com. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for blessing us with the present of your presence to this chill stream. And members and Patreon types will be able to play back last night's very epic party stream. If it's not there already, it'll be there shortly. That could be your Saturday night, couldn't it? Whatever you're doing, and whoever you're doing it with, have a wonderful time. Thank you for being here and sharing your light with the world. Love to you and your family. God bless.